सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Om Sri Sai Ram. Offering our most reverent pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan. Heartfelt Sai Ram and happy morning to all the Vidyarthis and elders present in the morning session of 7th and the last day of 6th phase online summer course organized by Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization Odisha. I now invite Brother Dr. Umakanta Subudhi to introduce today's topic and our guest speaker to our students and the elders. Sairam Dr. Umakanta Subudhi.
Om Sri Sai Ram. Suprabhatam. Subhasu Swagatam. Bhagavankara Padapadmare ଆମ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କର ଅନ୍ତରର ପ୍ରେମ ପ୍ରଣାମ ସ୍ୱାମୀ ସ୍ୱୀକାର କରନ୍ତୁ। ସ୍ୱାମୀ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଅହେତୁକ କୃପା ଓ କରୁଣାରୁ ଏହି ସାଧନା ସପ୍ତାହ ଗ୍ରୀଷ୍ମ ଶିକ୍ଷା ଶିବିରର ଆୟୋଜନ ଭାଗ ନେଇଥିବା ସମସ୍ତ ବିଦ୍ୟାର୍ଥୀ କୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଶୁଭ ଆଶୀର୍ବାଦ କରୁଣା ପ୍ରେମ ଦୟା ସତ୍ୟ ଧର୍ମ ଶାନ୍ତି ପ୍ରେମ ଅହିଂସା ଏ ମୂଲ୍ୟବୋଧକୁ ହୃଦୟରେ ବୀଜବପନ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ଆପଣ ଆଶୀର୍ବାଦ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁ ସ୍ୱାମୀ। ଏ ସାଧନା ସପ୍ତାହର ସପ୍ତମ ଦିନର ପ୍ରଥମ ଅଧିବେଶନରେ ଆମେ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସମ୍ଭାଷଣ ଶେଷ 3ଟି ଅଧ୍ୟାୟ ଆଲୋଚନା କରିବାକୁ ଯାଉଛୁ। Swami, it is your mercy and compassion. In the 7th day, the morning session, we are going to listen from Brother Srinivas Yalamati from Hyderabad. We fondly call Brother YC. It's really a memorable moment for all of us to join such satsang online summer course in spirituality and Indian culture based on Swami's own discourse, which Bhagavan has initiated the summer course in 72 and will be covering the 3 chapters, and the essence is reflected in the topic summer course for character building. In the morning I was thinking Bhagavan has descended to earth, particularly I would say the youth, anytime the Balvika students, and this age is so crucial when Bhagavan invited all the teachers and students across India to a place Brindavan where he has started the summer course to know about our own father and mother, our own guru, so that our life will be redeemed.
Tara bhai, is hearable or not?
Oh, no, Uma bhai Saira. Uma bhai left out ହେଇଯାଇଛନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କର connectivity problem ଯୋଗୁଁ
Okay. Then Bapi bhai, can you continue or?
no Uma bhai now in online Saira Uma bhai please continue.
Am I audible? Sairam? ଏବେ
Yes,
ଶୁଭୁଛି ତ?
Yes,
audible.
yes, yes.
Audible.
ମୁଁ ଆପଣ କେତେ ସମୟ ହେଲା ଶୁଣୁ ନଥିଲେ? ଗୋଟେ ମିନିଟ୍ ନା seconds?
ନାଇଁ
How much
1
time
minute.
I could not able to? 1 minute. So
Yes,
Bhagavan
1
has
minute.
blessed Sri Sathya Sai Samar Savars to redeem our own life, to take those prescriptions which to be practiced in our own life, to be closer, to be nearer, to be dearer to Swami. And Bhagavan is so much love for Gram Seva, the Seva activities. You do anything with love that becomes service. And Bhagavan himself initiated and founded a trust, Sri Sathya Sai Gram Seva Trust for Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Imagine at very young age, Bhagavan chosen Sri Srinivas brother as the president of the trust in a large state level conference. And with this, Brother Srinivas has initiated, commenced, guided by Bhagavan to run many mega service projects in the state and visited all the districts of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana on those days. Brother Srinivas, who we fondly call him Brother YC, born to a Sai family. Then his childhood and he's a student of Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar School near Seva. We see that. And he completed his master's program, then a leadership program from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. He worked in senior position in multinational banking and insurance companies. Sri Srinivas is actively involved in Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization since 88 and always guided by Bhagavan time and again. And he was many times a group leader of Hyderabad youth. We will listen to him many experience which directly interacted with Bhagavan. The Hyderabad youth is very unique, role model for rest of the country. And Bhagavan blessed again and again Brother Srinivas to take such projects. A few years back, the national project Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Jyoti, which has also commenced taking group of youth. Brother YC was the national coordinator for that, and still it is running. And like that, many service activities is dedicated. And the last 1 month in Andhra Pradesh, he was leading a mega service project, daily 6,000 Naran Seva, morning and evening. And he could only, I believe today will be the last day or tomorrow. So he mentioned that better it will be on 30th May I can available, not before that. So we are very lucky, we're fortunate, we're blessed by Bhagavan to have you, Brother Srinivas, with our welcome to the state of Odisha. This, you have interacted many of our youths, and most of the youth, they feel the role model YC is, with us. He'll be speaking to us. I am taking so much time, so please forgive. Now I should not be barrier between you and our brothers and sisters. So today we have beloved State President Brother Narayan Prasad Sir, our former State Presidents Sri Jagannath Prasad Rao, Professor Hari Krishna Das, State Office Bearers, many Samiti conveners, our own brothers and sisters of organizing team, and the participants all are waiting to you, welcome you, and listen to you. Brother Sairam, Srinivas brother.
Hi Ram to all of you. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, audible, please.
Okay. So, my humble pranams at Bhagwan's lotus feet, dear brothers, sisters, elders. There is several eminent elders from Odisha that I know personally. I offer my humble respects to each one of the elders and also our youth members. Working with youth has always been a privilege that was given to me by Bhagwan from childhood. So he always gave me these opportunities to work with thousands of youngsters in our state, right from my college days. And it's more or less almost like 30 years now since I have been very actively involved with the youth team. And even the current youth, which are like just joined the youth wing, I still love to work with them. So I take these opportunities. See, with youngsters, you feel very young, right? So I love to associate myself with the young people because they bring a lot of innovation, they bring a lot of new ideas and a lot of energy, and it's such a delight to work with young people. So Sairam to all of you and the Sai family of Orissa. Today, I'm given this enormous responsibility of conveying some beautiful stories and inspiration that was given to us by Bhagwan directly. In fact, Brother Umakant told me that you should share those nice, beautiful, intimate stories so that our youth get benefited. So I will like to actually share my screen so that you can see my slides. 1 second, please. Yeah, I hope you're able to see my screen now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So in the
Yeah.
lower part, it is
Yeah. 1
yeah,
second.
that.
Yeah. So I'm going to share some brilliant stories that we were privileged to learn at Bhagwan's lotus feet. And some of these stories have been very transformational by nature. Thousands of young people have got transformed listening to those stories at the divine lotus feet. Um, Today, the morning session, I'm going to deal with some inspiring stories, like I told you. If you remember, you were given few chapters to go through before you get onto this session, and God's love is like the sunshine, right? So I'm sure most of you would have gone through these chapters, and I've personally gone through the chapters because I wanted to be very relevant as much as possible and knit those beautiful experiences of Bhagwan with the relevant chapters as well. So I tried my best to fit the context. So let me start the flow. So Swami, when I was very young, I remember I was just about 18 years old, and it was one of my first interview experiences. And we were about a group of 40, 50 people from the Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar. So we had a opportunity, and Swami called the old students of Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar. And in 88, 89, we had this privilege of attending the first interview. And then Swami suddenly, in the conversation, he said, see, you all are wearing white dresses, and wearing the white dress doesn't mean anything. And he said in Telugu, he said, everyone, if you plant a sapling, you put a thorny bush around the sapling to protect the sapling from animals eating it, etc., etc. So Swami said, everyone does the bush outside and the sapling is inside. And Swami told me that you put the sapling outside and the bush inside. It was very funny. And first of all, it was I was very inquisitive as to what was wrong with me. And then I was trying to understand what did Swami mean by putting the sapling outside and having the bush inside, which is supposed to protect the sapling. It's the other way around. So I was wrong somewhere. So I came back home, told my father that Swami said this, and then my father told me the meaning of this. He said, wearing a white dress is not just the outside story. The white dress should be worn inside. You cannot be a Sai devotee just on the looks, but you got to be a devotee from inside. You got to follow Swami's message very seriously from inside. So he said, you did the other way around. Just wearing a white dress doesn't mean that you're transformed. You got to put the white dress inside as well. So I mean, and then Swami said the next statement. He said, you are so late coming to me. You have delayed so much, and your life is wasted. He said in a public forum of 50, 60 friends, Swami said, your life is wasted. I was 18 years old, and Swami said, you're very, very late. You came very, very late. Your life is wasted. And I was totally depressed because getting this message from Swami, it is so painful because I studied in a school from childhood, and Swami here Bhagavan says, you're very late and your life is wasted. When I was 18, then I felt something is wrong with the format and the life that I'm creating for myself. So I went into an introspection mode, and then started getting more serious with Bhagavan's work, or following his message, or following parents, respecting parents, all these important messages that Swami gives. And then Swami brought out some beautiful purpose with my life, and so to say with many other young people's life. That's how our journey starts. So when I was young, Swami set me thinking and gave me a larger vision, made me serious, and ensured that I pursue the path. And then I remember many of us feel that Bhagavan has never spoken to me. Bhagavan has not seen me. I never could see Bhagavan, never could touch his feet. Many of us feel this. So I remember one such interview where Swami was talking to all our youth members, and he was going one after the other. What did you do? What is your qualification? Which city you belong to? And Swami was talking to each of the youth members. And then suddenly there was one boy amongst our youth members who lost his mother at a young age, who went through a lot of family trouble. And I was praying inside that Swami should bless this boy. He was a very talented boy, very nice singer. He gives his voice for Radio Sai Telugu channel today. Beautiful voice. He's a very good singer as well. So I was thinking that this boy should be blessed by Swami because he went through a lot of trouble. And I was praying that Swami should talk to this boy. And then Swami was going one after the other. He was talking to all the brothers, and Swami stopped at this boy. And never before he had a conversation with Swami. This boy's name is Kaladhar. And then suddenly what happened is, Swami asked him, what are you studying? He said, Swami, I am studying Bachelor of Sciences. Then he said, Swami says, what bachelors? You have spoiled all the exams. You didn't get good marks in mathematics. You got bad marks in science. What are you studying? You're not being very responsible. And that Swami just went on with this boy. And then I was feeling that this boy is already going through a lot of trouble, and this Bhagwan's reprimand will make him cry, is what I was thinking. And then I just kind of I intruded into their conversation. I said, Swami, this boy is a very nice boy. He is very, very talented and a very dedicated boy. He really has a lot of love for Swami, and he is one of the key members of this group. And then Swami says, Srinivas, and I told him, I told Bhagavan that he belongs to so and so place, right, in our state. And Swami says, Srinivas, I am telling his marks in mathematics and science. Do you think I don't know where he belongs to, which place he belongs to? I know where he comes from. I know what he did all this time, all these previous years, and then I know his parents as well. And then Swami says, "This is Janma Janmala Bandham." Janma Janmala Bandham, Bhagavan said, to a person, to a boy whom Swami was talking to for the first time. And Swami says this is Janma Janmala Bandham, which is several janmas. This relationship has been there with each one of you, to a boy whom Swami is talking for the first time. Then I realized there's nothing like proximity to Bhagwan. There is nothing like distance to Bhagwan. Bhagwan is as close to us as we believe he is closer to us. And then this boy, literally that one instance transformed this boy, and he's an amazing instrument today. So, I mean, these beautiful stories actually, we were witness to were just amazing inspiration to us. And then one day in an interview, Swami, we went on bicycles from Hyderabad to Bangalore, 5-6 years, about 50-60 boys. We used to go do Swami's Namam going on bicycles. Like we would pedal, like every pedal we say, Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Ram, pedaling to, like even doing cycling, during cycling as well, we would chant his name all through the day, and daily about 90-95 kilometers of cycling. And on the cycle handle, we used to carry new saris and new dhotis on the handle, and in the triangle between the pedal, the small bag filled with rice and dal, so that we cook ourselves during the journey, and on the carrier is our luggage. So it's like actually cycling two people through from Hyderabad to Bangalore. So we, those days, we cannot believe retrospectively how we could manage all that. It was all Bhagwan's inspiration. So 5-6 years, wherever Bhagwan was, whether it is Bangalore or Prashantanilayam, we used to go to Bhagwan during September. And then Swami used to wait, actually. Swami used to inform all the devotees that these boys are coming. They have a lot of love for me. They're doing a lot of seva, that, this, and we don't know. And suddenly, by the time we reached Bangalore, we were only informing Bhagwan en route that we reached Karnool, we reached Anantapur, Bhagwan, because of your grace. We are just about 80 kilometers away from you. So we used to just intimate Swami through a fax. That's all. That's all we knew. And then by the time we reached Brindavan, both sides of the road, devotees used to wait. We didn't know who told them. So apparently Swami has told the ashram authorities. We don't know what. So, but both sides of the road, hundreds of devotees used to wait for this cycle group to arrive. It was like that typical Olympian feeling. Near the finish line, right? So we used to go to Brindavan, and then all the members used to lose about 8 to 10 kgs of weight during this trip. And then Swami used to wait. Every year he used to call us for an interview, and I am sharing 2-3 beautiful stories now, which were told to us by Bhagavan when we were very young. And then in fact, Swami used to say, till Karnool you managed to cycle on your own. From Karnool, I brought each one of you here. Here it's like Swami cycled us with the rest of the journey. So it was amazing inspiration. With the salt, people would have experienced the salt on their body, but we used to experience the salt sheets. There is a salt sheet on our hands, not just salt formation, right? So it used to be very grueling, very challenging. So morning 4 a.m. we used to get up, Omkaram Suprabhatam, and then we start cycling, doing Namam. And when by the time we reached Brindavan, when Swami was talking to us, when we were looking into Swami's eyes, that Namam used to continue, because 7 days it was a habit. And then when Swami is looking into your eyes, the inside chanting Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Ram, Om Sri Sai Ram. It was continuous when Bhagavan is looking into your eyes and talking. It was a brilliant experience. And then in one such interviews, we had this opportunity. Swami said spiritual questions. Then we asked Swami, how do we do Nishkam Karma? So this is aligned with the chapter again. In the chapter also, it deals with the Nishkam Karma. So we asked Bhagavan, how do we do any action without expectation of result? And then Swami said, do you know Newton's third law? Then we said, yes, Swami. We said every action has got a reaction. Then he says, no, it is equal and opposite. And then Swami said, Swami narrated a beautiful analogy. The analogy was, you take a tennis ball, throw it to the wall. When you throw the ball comes back to you. You throw it faster, the ball comes back faster. Throw it slower, the ball comes back to you slower. Good action, good reaction. Bad action, bad reaction. Right? And then so Swami said, when you're throwing the ball to the wall, are you expecting the ball to come back? It is very natural for the ball to come back when it is thrown to the wall. Since it is very natural for it to come back, you don't expect the ball to come back. It is exactly the same with your karma as well. So Swami said, if you do any action, the reaction is bound to come, whether you expect or not. When anyway the reaction is coming, when the result is coming, why do you expect? Don't expect. But then Swami said, just like the way tennis ball comes back, your karmas also will give you back the results. But then Swami said, you have a task here. The task is ensure that you only do good karma and avoid bad karma. If you do bad karma, you will have to reap the bad results. If you do good karma, you have to reap the good results. You reap the good results. So hence, always avoid bad karma and do good karma, and don't look for the ball to come back. Don't look for results. Results will come back anyway. What a practical example Bhagavan told us about Nishkam karma. Brilliant, isn't it? So, I mean, some of these stories have been so transformational and very practical and very scientific as well. This is possibly you may call it scientific spirituality, right? So spirituality, people think that there is no science in it, but Bhagavan has embedded science with spirituality. Beautiful. So, and then this beautiful, the body is given for doing action, not to waste time. We all know this, but then how beautifully Bhagavan keeps narrating these things. This happened again in Brindavan when we were all in the interview, and then interview was over, and Swami said, "See, but the bhajan has started outside, so all of you now go out. You move out, and I have to go for darshan." So all the 50, 60 boys that were inside, we all moved out of Swami's Trai Brindavan, his residence. Then the last boy came out, and then Swami says, hey, come on in, call all the boys again inside. We were surprised. It never happened before. So why is Swami calling us back again? So he calls back, and he shuts the door again, and he said something very important. He said, see, I forgot to tell you something very, very important. That's why I called you back again. And then Swami said, if you feel like doing good anytime, don't waste a minute. Do it immediately. Because if you delay for 2 minutes, it's possible that your mind might change and you may not do good. You may not even execute that good thought. So that's why don't delay. The moment a good thought comes, you feel like doing good, immediately practice it, do it straight away. And then suppose you want to do bad, you want to curse somebody, you're very angry with somebody and you feel like doing bad. Then Swami said, avoid bad, avoid for years. Don't execute, don't work on that. Just wait for years, wait for months, wait for years. And then you might also forget that anger after a few months, and you don't do that bad thing, and you may not, you won't reap the bad consequence, obviously. So Swami said, whenever you feel like doing good, do it straight away. And when you feel like doing bad, avoid for years, avoid for months, avoid for years, avoid altogether. So do good, do good, do good. I mean, this is and just to Swami to give us that experience, to tell that it is very, he felt he got this good thought, Swami got this good thought, and he wanted to demonstrate it to us. And then he called all the entire team again inside, just to very symbolically. And immediately he wanted to share that thought. That's why he called the entire group inside, and then he did the good straight away to demonstrate it, that this is the way it should be done. It's very, very, so how Bhagavan executes, and he just doesn't preach, he practices and then preaches. Usually all of us, we preach, and we don't practice, right? So with Bhagavan, it's entirely the other way around. Beautiful, isn't it? And then this karma, bhakti, gnana. Each one of us might choose different paths. A lot of youth are very happy doing seva. Seva is very inspiring to all of us. And then a few people choose the bhakti path, choose the jnana path, but then people are all confused. What is the connection? How is karma and bhakti and gnana are connected? Are they connected or are they disconnected? This is a famous dilemma which many youth have, and then they try to figure out but fail to understand. So in one interview, Bhagavan clarified beautifully with a nice analogy, the connection between karma, bhakti, and jnana. Swami said karma is like the seconds needle in the clock. Karma is the seconds needle, and then karma does 60 ticks. 60 ticks the karma needle, the seconds needle does. The bhakti needle moves one position. And the bhakti needle, which is the minutes, 60 seconds ticks 1 minute, right? And 60 minutes tick 1 hour, right? So Swami said karma is the seconds needle and it does 60 ticks, and then the bhakti needle goes 1 tick, and then bhakti does 60 takes, and then the jnana, the hours needle, ticks 1. So you have to do so much of karma to eventually understand the bhakti mark, and you have to do so much of bhakti to eventually evolve and understand jnana, get into the jnana path. So all these three are very intertwined, and each one of us have to practice. See, pursuing only jnana, only the hours needle, it won't work that way, because you lack the practical experience. Pursuing only bhakti will not help, because you may not understand the knowledge and the wisdom behind it. It's very important to have all the needles going. All of us have to engage in seva, do enough seva so that we experience the bhakti, the compassion and love, and then eventually we understand the jnana path as well. Hope I could explain it succinctly to each one of you, how they are knitted together, the karma, bhakti and jnana. Remember this clock and the needles, and you will easily remember this. I willfully made these slides anecdotal, so that the moment you see the clock, you can understand the karma, bhakti, jnana linkage, right? So it's better I share anecdotal stories than give some subtle messages which are difficult to remember at a later time. And then in this chapter 20, there's lots of discussion about morality. Why youth should embrace morality, why we should take morality seriously. And suddenly I got to remember this beautiful story of this scientist, Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya. He's a very famous scientist. He was the chief engineer from Andhra. And then this man is an embodiment of integrity and morality. So I remember his famous story where it was his last day at work and he was retiring. And when he was retiring, he worked on the last day till 9 p.m. in the night, the last day. And then he asked the peon to get the ink bottle. He gets the peon gets the ink bottle, and then Mokshagundam Vishveshwaraya, he opens his pen and pours the ink back into the bottle. He pours back the ink and takes the empty pen with him. Then this peon asks him, "Why are you doing this? Are you crazy?" And then the Vishveshwaraya says, "This ink belongs to my office. I'm not supposed to take this home." So he pours the ink back, and then he takes his empty pen. See, it's so important to embrace morals, embrace honesty, embrace integrity, embrace ethics, not just not at work, even at family, even in the Sai mission. So these are some beautiful thoughts that I had to share on the aligned to the chapter 20, brothers and sisters. And now I move on to the chapter 21, the very powerful subject. With the time, little time we have, so I hope I'm not rushing, and hope I'm not going too fast. Please pause me and feel free to let me know so that I can go slower, and please intervene whenever it's necessary. Thank you very much for your patient listening. And chapter 21 deals with pleasure and pain. And then here I felt that it's so important for youth members to understand the ceiling on desires. I'll just delve on this little bit because it's like fundamental, especially in the COVID times. All of us are going through a lot of suffering. A lot of people lost jobs. A lot of people are going through a crisis. Many cannot even explain their troubles to other members. So I felt, it's pertinent. Somehow my heart was saying, this is a very important thing to share with our brothers at this time, because pleasure and pain are part and parcel of everyone's life, and at every age group also, we have to go through pleasure and pain. So it's important that we understand these tenets of ceiling on desires. The Swami says these four are the pillars. I'm putting the cursor so that you understand. The food, money, energy, and time. All these four have to be saved. You cannot waste them. And then when talking about food, I remembered a beautiful story of Bhagavan. Swami was in Kodaikanal, and the lunch was served to the students. And then Swami suddenly, after the lunch, he looks at all the plates. There's one particular plate where food is left off. Someone has left the potatoes in the plate, and the plate was put for washing. And then Swami comes and he asks, whose plate is this? And then all the students, they say, Swami, we have not seen who sat here. And then he asks all the elders, whose plate is this? And then everyone is trying to protect that boy, because Swami might reprimand that boy. And Swami said, and everyone says, Swami, we have not seen properly. We don't know who has eaten. And then suddenly Swami says, I know who has eaten. It is Radha Krishna. You know Radha Krishna, right? He was driving Swami's car for several years. And then Swami calls Radha Krishna, and he asks him, why did you leave this food in the plate? And then he says, Swami, the food is not cooked well. The potatoes are not cooked well, and they're hard. That's why I left them. And then Swami says, what? Yeah, cannot you mash it and eat it? Why did you waste? And then the person who went for washing, Swami calls back and makes him eat the leftover potatoes from the plate. So just to explain the importance of food, I'm just narrating some of these small stories. It's very important that we make sure that we eat only. And in fact, one particular speech I remember, Swami was saying, you are eating so much of food that you are not leaving food for others. The food should be balanced. You cannot overindulge in food. You shouldn't eat too hot food. You shouldn't eat too spicy food. It has to be you need to consume food that is very balanced. It should not ignite the senses. And of all these stories, you can figure out in Swami's literature. But then I'm just giving you some basic inputs. And then Swami was talking about money, which is very, very important today's time. So Swami said, money is very, very crucial. You cannot misuse money. And then Swami said, if you have to, you go to a Raymond showroom and you feel like buying some nice clothes, and Swami said, you cannot just buy like that. First ask yourself 3 questions before buying. Do you really need this? Do you really need this? Otherwise, don't buy. First ask this question. Then Swami as I said, even if you feel that there is a need to buy that, Swami said you ask the second question. The second question is, can I survive without this? The second question. So pause before buying anything. Ask these 2 questions for yourself. Do you really need this? And can you survive without this? These 2 questions, if you ask, then if you feel that your answers are correct, and you still feel that there is a necessity to buy that, you buy that. This is the process Swami laid down. And then Swami was talking about energy. You cannot waste energy. You cannot energy by talking hours together on the phone, by sitting in front of computers for hours, talking loudly. Don't waste energy. Energy you cannot is given by God, and you cannot waste your energy on flimsy things, things that are useless. It's very important. And then Swami was talking about time. You have time. Every minute it is ticking, and you're going closer to your destiny. So it's important that you realize the value of time, and then don't waste time. Swami wouldn't used to look for every second. Swami used to put in practice, and he used to every darshan, every day of Bhagwan was spent in building humanity without wasting a minute. It's important that we remember these four tenets. Remember, brothers and sisters, it's food, money, energy, and time. We got to save, and save enough for a sunny day. We don't know how our careers span out, and what kind of challenges we have ahead. So it's important that we save for the sunny day. Yeah. And then so sealing on desires, please remember these four tenets Bhagwan has laid down. This is not my message, it is Bhagwan's message. So try to also read what Bhagwan has spoken eloquently on this subject many a times. You can look up on the Google, and you'll surely get enough content on this. And then this Rajiv Singh, you can see here on the slide. I was fortunate to be part of an interview in Brindavan. This lady, Rajiv Singh, is a very intimate devotee of Bhagwan. She has not even married, and she has given away her life to such a high education in Singapore. So I was privileged to be part of this interview in Bangalore. And then a very tall woman, always studded with jewels. She was a very rich woman. And then Swami, in the interview asked her, Ragbir kaise ho? And then she says, Swami, I'm so happy to be in your presence. And then Swami suddenly starts, questioning her. Why did you come? Last week you were here. You have again come this week from Singapore all the way. Why did you come? Why are you coming so many times? And then Swami was telling she wastes a lot of money. From Singapore, she comes all the way. Every Friday, she starts in Singapore after work, and she comes to Swami. And for last 30 years, she's been traveling every weekend to come and see Swami, and she's wasting a lot of money. And then she said, Swami, my money has only one meaning, and that is to reach your lotus feet. There's no other meaning. And then Swami said, no, you cannot do this. You cannot waste money like this. You come once in a while. No need of coming every week. It affects your health. It affects you're wasting a lot of money. And then Swami says you have a lot of gastric problems. And then he created beautiful tablets, gastric tablets for gastritis, and packed it to her and gave it to her and told her the dosage. Tomorrow morning one, tomorrow evening one, tomorrow night one, like that. Swami gave the dosage, and he created the tablets and gave it to her, and this end of gastritis for you, he said. So why? Because Swami was such a rich woman, Swami was telling her not to waste money. You cannot. So imagine the plight of people like us who are always working towards paying our EMIs. Right? We have to be careful, and money we have to be very, very careful about. And then this beautiful story I'm going to share with you, brothers and sisters. This story was shared with us by Bhagavan. What a beautiful story! And Swami asked us this question on shutters to eyes and mouth. Swami said, it should read as eyes and mouth. Swami said there are shutters to eyes and mouth, not ears. It was a typo error. So Bhagavan said, God gave shutters to eyes and mouth, and not to the nose and ears. Why? He asked us this question. Very, very amazing stories he used to tell us. And then we were dumbstruck. We didn't know what to tell, because we never even thought that there is a learning in this, with the shutters. And then Swami said, if you smell something bad, Swami went on to tell the story. He said, if you smell something bad, the inner damage that it can do is very little. The moment you move to the next room, you feel better, and the damage that it does is very little inside. That's why God felt there's no need for shutters to the nose, and he left it. And then Swami was talking about ears. If you listen to something bad, and some friend has told some tales, etc., something bad, and after a few months, you even forget what your friend has told you. Because the inner damage that it can do is also very little. After a few months, you tend to forget what you have heard from your ears. So Swami said, nose and ears are weak senses, and hence God felt that there was no need for shutters, and hence he didn't give them. Then Swami spoke about the eyes, brothers and sisters. Swami said, if you look at something with the eye, something wrong with the eye, suppose somebody is killing somebody and you happen to see it, right? These images are going to bother you for the rest of your life. The moment you think of those instances, Swami said, those images will come in front of your eyes and it bothers you for the rest of your life. That's why in the marketplace, suppose you're on the road, you cannot control the environment outside. That's why if you're being forced to see something bad, then God felt that there is a necessity for a shutter and he gives shutters to the eyes. Just shut your eyes, don't allow those images to enter you, and you're safe after that. So this is what Swami said about eyes, right? And then Swami was talking about the tongue, brothers and sisters. This is a very powerful story. And then Swami said, the tongue is bestowed with two powers. One is to taste, and other one is to talk. And all the other senses, eyes, ears, and nose, can only do one task. No, they cannot do two tasks. So tongue is the only sense which is blessed with this phenomenal power of doing two tasks. So the only sense which is doubly powerful, doubly dangerous. And in Telugu there is a proverb. It says "Noru manchidaina, uru manchidavanu," which means that if your tongue is good, the entire village is good to you, right? So yeah, I can hear somebody. Yeah.
It's okay, sir.
Yeah. So if the tongue is good, so Swami was saying the tongue, you have to be very careful about how to use it. Don't spread bad news. Don't demoralize anybody. Don't speak untruth. Don't criticize someone behind their back. All these things Swami always used to say. But then Swami said, tongue has this power of creating the Maya. Maya, Swami said, Maya dances on the tongue of man, Swami said. And then he said, the tongue is the only sense that has the power to paint untruth as truth and truth as untruth. It can always say, no, that is not right, this is wrong. Even untruth it can paint as truth. The truth it can paint as untruth. Tongue is the only sense which is blessed with this supreme power. That's why one has to be careful with how they use the tongue, right? So and Swami said this Maya of painting untruth as truth, truth as untruth, this Maya, this delusion dances on the Maya dances on the tongue of man. Swami said that it keeps dancing on the tongue of man. And Swami said in Telugu, ఈ మాయని వశం చేసుకోవాలంటే, if you want to take control of this Maya, then Swami said you have to do this nartaki. Swami said this nartaki which is dancing on the tongue, if you have to take control of this Maya, this nartaki, do the reverse of nartaki. Swami said you have to do kirtana. You have to do kirtana to control this nartaki that is dancing on your tongue. What a brilliant story, isn't it? So transformational, these stories. And we are so grateful to Bhagavan for sharing these jewels of wisdom to us, and we're able to discuss these beautiful stories that are so transformational. And then this chapter also deals with having the right company. It's important that you avoid bad friends. There are several people offering a hand of friendship, but you have to be choosy. One has to be choosy about what kind of friends you wish to have. You cannot be friends with everybody. There can be only very few good friends. Not all can be good friends, right? You have to avoid. You have to have a satsang around you. Satsang means having the right people, good friends around you. So one such trip of Kodaikanal of Bhagwan, Swami was, this is a very famous incident. Some of you might also know it, but I'm just, for the sake of the team, I am reiterating it. So Swami's car was going in the front, and students students were sitting in the bus, and the bus was following Swami's car to Kodaikanal. And then it was so that it is a very funny incident actually. And Swami suddenly had this urge to get into the students' bus. So he stops the car, and then Swami gets down and gets into the students' bus. And students are all singing, chatting, and discussing with Swami. And the Swami from the bus is seeing his car going in the front, in the front of the bus. And then Swami says, see, I did bad Dusan, the bad company. You people are all bad company. So I am sitting with you. See, and on the road, my car is going, and all the devotees are standing on both sides of the road and doing namaskar to my empty car. I'm not sitting in the car. I am sitting with you people in the bad company. So all the namaskars that I am supposed to get, I have lost because I did bad company with you. And then all the children were surprised by this. And then Swami says, now see, my car did satsang with me, and that's why even if I'm not there, it is getting namaskar. All the devotees are doing namaskar to my car, empty car. So since it did good company with me, my car is getting namaskars, and I did bad company with with you boys, the students, and I lost my namaskars. So it's important that show me your friends, I shall tell what you are. It's a famous statement of Bhagavan. It's important that we choose our friends very wisely. We choose friends that give us positive energy, positive thoughts, and we choose. It's important that we choose friends who are encouraging all our efforts and not discouraging. So, and then amazing. And then one day he was telling that there is a pot, and you don't need 10 holes to a pot to empty the pot. Even if the pot has one hole, the pot is likely to get empty. It's just a matter of time. So one bad friend or one bad habit is enough to ruin your life. One hole is enough to empty the pot. So don't think that this is the only bad habit I have, so all the rest are good habits. No, it doesn't work like that. So Swami said, one hole is enough to empty the pot. So let's remember, brothers and sisters, that we need to avoid bad friends and all kinds of bad habits to remain close to Bhagavan. So your parents must be able to see transformation in you. In fact, in this chapter, Swami tells after summer showers, in the end, Swami talks, and he says that all these 30 days of listening, beautiful summer course, beautiful wisdom that elders shared with you, your parents should be able to see the transformation in you. It should be visible, right? So it's important that with the summer showers, the last 7 days, or each one of you has spent in a holy manner, and all these efforts and all this time you have taken to listen to this beautiful transformational experience, and please carry it in your hearts, and make sure that you have a fantastic relationship with Swami in your heart. So, and also this is a famous thing Swami used to say, if you indulge in the world, you move away from God. And if you want to pursue God, you cannot indulge in the world. If you go this way, you have to forget the other way. If you come this way, you have to forget the other way. You cannot have this this riding on two horses, right? If you want to pursue Swami, pursue God, you have to forget, or at least reduce your interest in the worldly things. Otherwise one can never get closer to God. So God is serious matter. You have to. It cannot be a part-time engagement, right? So, in fact, in this beautiful story, this was another interview story that Swami shared with us. It's a lot of people don't want pain; they only want pleasure. And actually, pleasure and pain actually are next to each other. The moment you're delighted, you feel that, oh, what a pleasure I got! I got so much of success. I am enjoying this. Within no time, you experience some pain. So it's just a matter of time that pain and pleasure, it's like constant journey till the end. That's the way the journey is going to be. And Swami was narrating this beautiful story to us, which is of a pot. A pot. There is a king actually who lost all his wealth in gambling and all that. And this person, after losing all his wealth, all his the entire his empire, he loses in gambling. And then eventually he had no money to survive, and he joins as a gardener in a rich man's house. And then the king actually is watering as a gardener in that rich man's house because he lost all his wealth. And then he was carrying pots of water on his head, and he was cursing himself that what am I doing with this pot on my head? I've enjoyed so many riches in my life, and today I have nothing. I've become a gardener, and I'm having to carry pots on my head. what nonsense is this? And he was cursing himself. And then this pot gives a beautiful message to the king, to the yesteryear king, I would call it. So the pot says, I was wet mud on the lakeside, and then a pot. What do you call a potman? I don't know what you call the guy who makes the pots, you know. And then a potman comes and he takes all this sand, you know, and the pot is narrating the story of the pain that it underwent to become a pot, you know. And then this mud he takes and puts on a wheel, and he revolves it round and round with a lot of speed. And then pot says, you know, my head was aching, my head was reeling because this guy was rotating it so fast. And then lo and behold, he put his hand into my stomach to give shape to me, and I had so much of nausea in my stomach. You know, I felt like vomiting, and then I felt that a lot of pain is being given to me. And then lo and behold, this potter, pressed my neck very hard. You know, I felt like I was gasping. I had no breath. You know, from the top, he pressed my neck, and then I felt, you know, there's too much of pain being given to me by this potter. And then I felt that, oh my God, all the pain is coming to me. And then this potter again takes all this entire pot and puts it into fire, you know. And then so much of heat burns all over the body. And then this pot is cursing itself. I mean, what all agony, what all pain I'm having to go through. And then this potter puts the pot on the in the market, and then everyone customer who is coming there is hitting the pot and seeing if it is hard enough, you know, on the head, tuck tuck tuck. And then the head is all swollen, you know. And this is what the pot says. See, I went through so much of pain, so much of agony, and then today I'm on the head of the king, you know, the pot says. So it's important that pain and pleasure should be taken in the same light. And Swami used to say, the true feature of a great devotee is, pleasure and pain shouldn't affect him. You know, the pleasure should not delight you. The pain should not give you sorrow. It's important that it's called sthita pragnata, which means you have to be balanced all through pleasure and pain. You cannot exult, nor you cannot feel grief. So this is a beautiful slide I am going to share with you now, brothers and sisters. Swami, based on Bhagavan's message, this graph I could prepare so that maybe if this concept is known to you, it will really help you in life. It just takes about 2-3 minutes for me to explain. So on the left side, I'm using the mouse cursor for you to understand better. This is the journey from X to Y. You know, the life journey of any person. You know, this to the arrow to the right, this big arrow is the journey of all of us from X to Y, right? And then this curve you see up and down. You know, this curve, it is the ups and downs in life. You know, we go through. You know, there are certain crests and certain troughs that each one of us go through across our career and all across our life. So what are those successes in life? You know, one gets well educated, one gets a job, gets married, you know, has children. These are all happy news in life, successes. And they buys a home, buys a car, you know, all the successes. So that's why they're all above all these beautiful successes, above the graph, above the axis, right? They're all beautiful successes. And then below, you know, what can come in the way of these successes and this happiness? You know, one could lose job. You know, one could face health problems. One could face wealth loss. You know, someone loses money, etc., etc. So these things can happen to any one of us, right? So in this journey of ups and downs, right? Generally, typically youngsters, Swami used to say that you can see this big cloud here, overindulgence. Swami said, what is life of happiness? One day he asked us. So life of happiness, a lot of people think that it's all have successes. You know, it's not true. The life of happiness is not, a lot of youngsters, what they do is they overindulge. You know, this is 35 years, you can see here. Before 35, 40 years, till marriage and children and responsibilities, all the youngsters, they overindulge. Typically, most of them overindulge in food, overindulge in entertainment, all kinds of bad friends, good friends, whatever. So you end up overindulging without sleep. They don't give enough rest to the body, and they think that body is taking. I am not getting any fevers. I am not getting any wrong symptoms. My body is able to take it, so why not? So let me overindulge. So they don't sleep well. They don't give enough rest. So what they don't realize is my body is able to take it. So why should I worry? What they don't realize is the pain, the overindulgence that they do in this stage of life, before 35 age group, after 35, after 40, it surfaces in disease. You can see the disease here. So what the overindulgence that you do pre 35, pre 45 age group, the more you do overindulgence here, the diseases get surfacing here, beyond 45. So then what happens? What happens when disease strikes you? You lose confidence, you lose the steam to run for another 20 years, 30 years, because 60 years you retire, okay, your income stops, but there is life till 85 years or 90 years. So how can you survive this? So it's important that you understand that you have to maintain a balance across your life. Don't overindulge here. Maintain a balanced food, balanced sleep, and so that diseases come much later and not earlier, so that they don't affect the journey of life. And life of happiness doesn't mean too much happiness before 35, 45, and diseased life and sadness after 45. Life of happiness should be happiness all across the life. This is what Swami means. So this is a beautiful concept to understand, brothers and sisters. Please remember this. And please pause me when the time is up. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So this is chapter 22. I have some very interesting, nice stories here as well. Bhagavan was talking about in this chapter. It's all about learning and humility, right? So it's important that one understands the importance of character. Character is wealth, and good conduct is our treasure. Is mentioned in the chapter. So, and then in one interview, we did a housing project in a district called Prakasham. We had this privilege of building 100 houses for tribals there, and then we were showing these pictures to Swami in an interview, and Bhagwan was flipping through the pages, and he was very rejoiced. He was very happy. He hugged all the boys. He said, "Very good work. I love this work," and all that. He was taking pictures with us and all that in the interview. And then suddenly Swami said, "But Kani in Telugu." But always the disclaimer comes in the last. So Swami said, "See, all this good work you people have done. I'm very happy that you are doing satkarma and all that. And but is there transformation in you? Is there any change in you? If there is no change in you, if there is no transformation in you, then all this good work also gets wasted. It's important that you go through the transformational experience while you are doing the seva. The seva rendered should be filled with love. It should be filled with compassion. It shouldn't be done with ego. All this. If these nice values are not embedded into the seva, then even the seva can actually feed your ego, right? So it's important that seva humbles us. That's why humility is very important, right? Learning and humility is the chapter heading. So seva should humble us. We cannot be proud of our seva, right? So it's this beautiful thing. Swami said, all this is great work, guys, but remember, it should humble you. You cannot have these negative traits still in your heart, and you cannot think that you have done great work. It's not true. It has to bring in the transformation. It has to bring. You have to experience the transformation. Otherwise, all this will be a waste. And then Swami is famous saying, not just good marks. You cannot have remarks, right? So I remember in this same Rajiv Singh, I was talking about that Singapore devotee. In the same interview, this gentleman called Gokul Das, he was a very ardent devotee of Swami, very intimate to Swami. And Swami was going into Swami was taking this Gokul Das family into the personal interview room. And the Gokul Das family left into the personal interview room, and Swami was talking to us about their family. And in so many opportunities that we had with Bhagwan, This is one devotee that Swami was talking about very proudly with us, right? Swami was telling, I love this devotee. Swami is telling us. And then we were really perplexed because the devotee had left into the interview room, and Swami was saying, I love this devotee. When I give an instruction, when I say something, it's immediately in practice. He immediately puts into practice. That's why I love this devotee. This is what Swami told to me, told to us in the interview about that nice devotee. So it's important that we transform, we follow Bhagavan's command, follow his message. Just listening to Swami's message or reading literature it will not help us. It should eventually surface in transformation in us, right? And then this beautiful this another one of the cycle interviews. We asked Bhagavan how to get rid of ego. Very beautiful practical experience Swami told us. Swami said this universe is so big, and in the universe, Earth is so small. In Earth, India is very small. In India, Andhra is very small. In Andhra, Hyderabad is this much. In Hyderabad, your house is this much. And in your house, you are this much. And Swami said, where is the chance of ego? What is your stature in this big universe? You're just a dust particle, or even less. So why if you get a gold medal, even the neighbor is not getting benefited. So if you get a big lottery, the neighbor or your colony is not getting benefited. So what is the ego about? Why do man cannot have any ego? There's no chance, because man has no stature to get the ego. The Swami said, whenever you feel that ego has descended upon you, so remember that you are just a dust particle in this macro universe. And what is your stature in this universe? So you are nothing. And then it will automatically humble you, is what Swami told us. What a brilliant practical way of getting rid of ego, isn't it? So remember these beautiful stories. It will help you in your sadhana. It's not enough that you are disciplined here in the ashram. So wherever you are, you need to stay disciplined. So this is a beautiful thing. So a lot of youth ask this question to Swami. Swami, when we are in Prashanti, we feel so energized and we feel so connected to Bhagavan. But once we reach Hyderabad or if we reach our own places, we don't feel the same motivation. What is the reason? And then Swami explained this in a nice analogy again, which is very helpful. Swami said a pot is filled with water, right? And then if you leave the pot with water as it is, then the water, after some time, the water level reduces in the pot, because from the pores the water goes away. So Swami said, if you want to maintain the level of water in the pot, he said, you choose a tray, fill it with water, and put the pot full of water in the tray. So there is water outside the pot, and also there is water inside the pot. Then what happens? The level of water remains the same. The water doesn't leak out of the pores. So Swami said, if you want to feel the motivation that you experience in Prashantanilayam, so you have to create the water environment outside as well, which is you have to create a Prashantanilayam around you in your own cities. So have the right satsang, have the right people around you, have only visit the Sai center, maintain this ecosystem around you, so that the Prashantanilayam, wherever you go, you experience Prashantanilayam. Wherever you go, you create your own Prashantanilayam. So don't ever say that, Swami, we are motivated here and we are demotivated at our houses. No, it's not true. So you have to create an ecosystem exactly like Prashantanilayam around you. So very powerful analogies, brothers and sisters. Please remember these stories. It will help you. So students should have powerful ideals, noble thoughts, and sublime emotion. It was part of the chapter. And then power of positive thinking. One day, I remember I was very young, and we were teaching in a few of our brothers. We were teaching in a orphan home, all young children, girls, 5th class, 6th class. Those children, they were all orphans, about 600 of them. So we used to do every week, go and teach them. I used to teach English, and few people used to teach math, science, social, and all that. So suddenly, it so happened these children were going through a lot of pain, and for 2 years we did teaching here. And then it so happened that I was sitting in the darshan in the first row, and then Bhagavan passed by me to the East Prashanti gate, And then he waved his hand. See, while Bhagavan was going to East Prashanti Gate, I didn't have any this feeling that I should ask Swami about this orphan home. And then Swami again was getting back to the veranda, and then suddenly something happened. I loudly yelled. I said, Swami, and then Swami has already gone that far. And then from that distance, he said, Yemi. And then what? And then Swami came back, brothers. I mean, normally Swami, once he goes past us in darshan, it's very difficult for Bhagavan. You hardly see Bhagavan coming back to you again. So this is one instance where Bhagavan came back. And then I said, what? And I said, Swami, we are teaching these orphan children, the girls, and they need prasadam, Swami. I want to carry prasadam for them. There are several hundreds of them. Then I was very young, I was just part of the youth wing, and Bhagavan was so responsive. See, when my father used to tell me that you have to be selfless with Swami. If you are selfless with Bhagavan, Bhagavan will be with you. When I was doing my schooling, Swami used to tell this. My father used to tell this, and then it really worked, because when I asked Swami about this orphan children, because it was a very selfless intention, and Bhagavan responded within no time. And he said, you wait here, I'll send packets of vibhuti. And then in a big packet of 800 vibhuti, Swami sent me. Devotees have left, and I was asked to vacate the place. And I said, sir, Bhagavan said he will send vibhuti for me. They said, no, go. Swami has already gone inside. But then after 15-20 minutes, I got a big packet, cover filled with vibhuti packets for those orphan children. So it was such a blissful thing. Those children we have personally handed over to each child, and we were so happy that 800 orphans got the vibhuti of Bhagavan. So fantastic how Swami responds to selflessness. When I was young, Swami taught these lessons, which was brilliant. And then this leprosy colony you can see here. This is a beautiful experience as well. So we were working in this leprosy colony, and then it so happened that they had only one water resource. There was a well, and this well got dried up entirely. And then one brother called, and he said, brothers, we need to dig it up deeper. And then so we all assembled, about 30-40 of us. So we assembled, and we dug deep the well, and the water level came up brilliantly. And we didn't know, we got in, but we didn't know how to get out. It was a very deep well. We thought it was a small well, but with great difficulty, all of us somehow came one after the other. We came out. And then after several years, in an interview, we took along with us in the cycle group 3-4 children from leprosy colony, 3-4 youth from leprosy colony who wanted to come and see Swami. Looking at our work, they were inspired, and they said, brothers, can we join you? And we said, yes, why not? And then in the interview, these leprosy colony boys, suddenly they got up and they said, Swami, when you come to Hyderabad, you visit the chief minister, you visit the chief justice, and how come you don't visit a poor man's colony like ours? They asked Swami directly, and Swami so lovingly responded. He said, no, I'm coming to Hyderabad. I'll visit you. I'll bless your colony and all that. And then what was beautiful is we prayed to Bhagavan that the leprosy, all the elders have leprosy in the colony, and the kids luckily so far haven't got leprosy. And we are very worried that leprosy might spread to. We were not doctors, so we didn't even know if it spreads and all that. But we just said, Swami, we are concerned about the children. And then Swami, he created a big, beautiful linga, Shivlinga he created. It had all black and white spots on the linga. And then Swami said, all these black spots is the disease, And then Swami suddenly, after 5-6 years of the activity, Swami remembers that activity of well digging. And Swami says, you people have dug up the well, right? So make sure the water of the well, which is their drinking water source, goes via the linga. They should do abhishekam to the linga and get into the pipelines, of the colony. So their leprosy will not spread to them. I'll ensure this. And then we carried that linga to this colony. Even today, that colony, we installed that beautifully and engineered the pipeline properly, and the water gushes over the linga, into the pipelines. And even today, you can see in that colony, all the elders have leprosy and the children don't have. Swami arrested leprosy in that colony. So it's a beautiful experience of one of our group, and which I wanted to narrate. And then, respecting parents and teachers, it's fundamental, brothers. Respecting women is part of our culture. So you're doing summer course on culture and spirituality. So it's important that we respect elders, we respect women, we respect parents and teachers. These are fundamental to us. So in fact, Gandhari experience, I remember Swami was telling one day that, the Mahabharata you are probably seeing on the television as well these days. That Krishna, Gandhari cries that her sons are all gone, and why she has to put up with so much of loss. And then Krishna says, Amma, mother, you yourself have not seen your children with your eyes, with your loving eyes. Your loving vision has not fallen onto your children only. How do you expect God to bless them? So he says, mother's love is very important. Mother's blessings are very important. If Swami also used to say, if your mother is unhappy with you, don't expect Bhagavan to bless you. It's important that a mother, we have to respect parents and earn the love and blessings of mother and father as well. Okay, so these are fundamentals, brothers and sisters. We cannot be part of Sai Youth and behave in a way which is not befitting the Sai mission. It cannot be that way, right? And then I think I came to the last slide now. In another 15-20 minutes, I should be complete with this. And this particular chapter is all, again, the learning and humility. It continues. Youth should take a lot of responsibility. Family, responsibility of families, and take good care. Love the family. This particular incident happened in Kodaikanal, and we had our first child, and our son was 3 years old, and then I went to Kodaikanal. It so happened that the dairy, out there, there was some contamination in the milk that we brought for the child, and he had an upset stomach, my child. And then we went for darshan to Kodaikanal, and it so happened that we ended up in the hospital taking care of our child. Child was on the drip, and we were, like, my husband, myself, and my wife, we both were in the hospital, taking care of the child. And it was like very, very stressful. Almost for 4 or 5 days he was on the drip, and being a small baby, it was very difficult for us to. My wife was going through a lot of pain, so looking at all this. And then it so happened that we brought the child out of the hospital. He was discharged, and we just came out of the hospital, and we saw Swami's car coming towards the hospital. On the road in front of the hospital, Swami was going somewhere, and luckily Swami's car was on the road in front of the hospital that we were coming out from. And then my wife I was actually carrying the child all through during the discharge, and I came out, and then Swami's car came, and then just before Swami's car came, my wife took the child in my arms into her hands. And then I was somehow uncomfortable with this, and Swami's car came, and Swami blessed us from the car, but I didn't like I could realize that Swami was not liking the something there, because I've seen Bhagwan enough number of times from close proximity. I could see that Bhagwan was not very happy with something. In the car, Swami's eyes were not lightening up. So my wife took the baby from my hands, and then something happened, and then again evening darshan, I sat in Kodaikanal, with the baby, and then Swami was saying, see, I was exactly thinking what Bhagavan would say. I told my wife in the hotel room that Swami would definitely scold me today, and because you were carrying the child and not me, because my baby was in the wife's hands, and I said Swami is going to be critical today. And then exactly as per my expectation, Swami said, See, your wife is carrying the child and not you. You're not taking responsibility. All the responsibility is taken by your wife. So it's important that these little things, we have to take responsibility, and we have to take good care of family. There's no shortcuts to this. And phenomenal. Bhagwan, observes these little things as well. In fact, one beautiful story I remember, Hanuman goes to Sita with that Lord Rama's ring, right? He shows that ring to Sita. And then I believe when this is not written in Ramayanas elsewhere, but Swami's Ramayana is unique. So I believe Sita asked Hanuman from which finger Rama pulled out this ring. From which finger Rama pulled out this ring? Sita asked Hanuman, and Hanuman was surprised by this question. Why did she ask this question? Which finger? How does it matter? It is Lord Rama's ring. But then Sita asked this question. From which finger? He pulled out. Then Hanuman remembers, and he says, "It is from the thumb, Amma." The ring came out from the thumb. Swami Rama pulled out from the thumb, and then Sita is delighted by this answer. It seems. Why is she delighted just by hearing that it was pulled out from the thumb? I believe Sita understood a huge message in that. So when see how subtle these Swami's messages are. So the moment Sita hears that Rama pulled out from the thumb, she could imagine what Rama is going through. So Rama is missing the mother. Rama hasn't. I believe Rama didn't eat for months together because mother is not around, and then he was not sleeping well, was not resting well, and he lost a lot of weight. And Rama's ring it became loose. So he pulled up. He started putting that ring on the thumb so that the ring doesn't fall away. So this is what Mother Sita understood just by listening to this. He pulled it from the thumb, so much of message Sita got. So she was delighted. She was happy that Rama is missing her. So how Swami used to explain these stories to tell us the importance of family, why we should be responsible with family, why you should love family. These stories narrate those messages. So work and worship. How do you transform work into worship? It's not easy, right? So doing work is actually doing labor. So how do you transform work into worship? So in fact, in Seva, also Swami used to say, you can do Seva with ego, you can do Seva with pomp and show, you can do Seva with all kinds of attitudes, right? With anger and all that, to show somebody, to compete against somebody. You can do all kinds of things. But then Swami said, if the same work, if you do it with the right intentions, the intention should be do it with love, do it with compassion, do it without ego, do it with devotion to Bhagavan, do it with an intention that you are his instrument. Then your work, even your seva, it could be your daily work also, your office work. If you do with right intentions and think of God, convert even your office work into God's work, convert your homework, your work at home also into God's work. So everything can be transformed into worship. So it's simple. All these 5-6 ingredients, if you put these thoughts behind your work are pure and your intentions are right, the same work becomes worthy of worship, right? So it's very important that we remember and transform our work into worship. See what a shame it will be if we have done so many years of work and Swami didn't like it. It cannot be so. Swami is usually very kind and very loving, but if we don't put these right intentions behind our seva and our work, it cannot belong to Swami, right? So it's important that we make efforts to transform our work into worship. And discipline is more important than devotion. The elders in our organization, elders also, they have taught us these fundamentals, brothers and sisters. In fact, one auntie who used to inspire us so much, she was very intimate to Swami. She used to say, discipline is more important than devotion, because devotion is personal between you and God, and it is not visible to the eyes. Even a person sitting in the last row has probably got better devotion than any of us, right? So devotion is between you and God, but discipline, indiscipline is actually visible to the eyes. That's why discipline is more important in the Sai centers than devotion. Devotion is between you and God. Nobody can see it, nobody can question it. So it's important that discipline is maintained. Discipline is imbibed by each one of us. And see, the true wealth is all values in the end. I don't have to say this. The enormous Sathya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. What are the 5 fundamental human values? If anyone asks you, a lot of new people, new youth will ask you, what are human values? So it is Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, and Ahimsa. These are the 5 fundamental tenets of Satya Sai mission, and these 5 values, all these are actually interconnected. If you speak truth, you automatically follow dharma. If you follow dharma, you will have a lot of peace, which is shanti. If you experience shanti, you experience a lot of love, which is prema. And if you have a lot of love in your heart, you cannot do himsa. You experience ahimsa. They're actually very interconnected. You just have to follow one tenet, and all the rest are in place. So it's important that these 5 tenets of Bhagavan's mission are kept in our hearts always, and let us all become worthy instruments of his mission. Sai Ram and brother Umakant, I finished the morning session, and I have one slide for the evening session. Actually, these are powerful stories as well, but I'll share it in the evening if there is a possibility.
Sairam, dear brother Srinivas.
Yeah.
Listening to Swami's glory, his expression of love through intimate interactions with you was a mesmerizing experience. Already we had the most feeling within us, being at the back end of the program. At such time, listening to Sai Bhagavatam was like our beloved Swami applying the lotion of love on our wounds. Please believe me, brother, that this session has flown us away from our mere existence to the divine abode of Bhagavan, to immerse in the ocean of ecstasy. I wish if someone could sing the song Janam Janam Ka Saath Hai Tumhara Hamara. Quoting from Bhagavan's discourse, love is the form of the divine. Love alone can merge in love. When one is filled with divine love, he can experience oneness with the divine. Happiness arises from pure love, which is also the source of truth, righteousness, peace, and forbearance.
Fantastic.
Hope our Vidyarthis have been inspired by the real life inspirational affairs with Bhagavan, and they will carry these words in their heart. They will this will definitely help them to lead a life full of bliss and divine love and transform themselves. The Vidyarthis will do manana on the lovely deliberation and try to link themselves with these teachings. So please put your questions in the WhatsApp group, and they will be shared with Brother Srinivas, who will discuss over them in the evening session. There is a small announcement for the evening session. For all of us, know that today we are going to close the month-long activity of Sri Sathya Sai Summer Course on Spirituality and Indian Culture with Swami's permission. All the participants, guests, elders present over here are requested to attend the session till the end. The session will be a bit extended, that is from 6:30 to 8:45 p.m. The session will be brief early as follows. It's like 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. deliberation by Brother Srinivas as the other days. And afterwards, till 8:45 p.m., the valedictory session that will be blazed by addresses from our revered state president of Sri Sathya Sai Seva Organization, Odisha, and the registrar of Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. So all are requested to attend the session till the end. Sai Ram. Let's express our heartfelt gratitude to Bhagavan for giving us the lovely experience of listening to his glory, being part of a chosen team formed only with his divine experience. Now we will request for a bhajan from the golden voice of our master, Sai Ram.
Pibare Ram Rasam Rasane Pibare Ram Rasam Pibare Ram Rasam पिबरे रामरसं रसने पिबरे रामरसं पिबरे पूरीकृत पातक संसर्गं पूरीकृत पातक संसर्गं पूरित नानाविध फलवर्गं पूरित नानाविध पूरित नानाविध फलवर्गं पूरित नानाविध पिबरे रामरसं रसने पिबरे रामरसं पिबरे रसने पिबरे रामरसं कौसल्या दशरथ सुकुमारं कौसल्या रामा कौसल्या दशरथ सुकुमारं कौसल्या दशरथ सुकुमारं सकल शास्त्र निगमागमसारं सकल शास्त्र सकल शास्त्र निगमागमसारं सकल शास्त्र निगमागमसारं पिबरे रामरसं रसने पिबरे रामरसं पिबरे रामरसं रसने पिबरे रामरसं पिबरे रामरसं पिबरे रामरसं
शांति शांति शांति। जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।